In real life, most challenges have multiple solutions. For example, my cup of tea is empty, so I could either go and fix myself a new cup, or I could heavily imply that Jane do it until she gets the hint.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Okay, that's a bad example. In video games, however, there's generally a right way and a wrong way to do things. Puzzles have one solution, bosses have to be fought fair and square, and if there are hoops to be jumped through, you better believe you're jumping through them, sometimes literally. That doesn't always have to be the case though. Through sheer creativity, violence, or just pure dumb luck, players sometimes manage to find genius cheat solutions to difficult in-game problems that are surely not what the developers had in mind. Here are 7 of our favourites. Enjoy and beware spoilers ahead for the following games. Sure I can't convince you to make a little tea?
No, I just got myself a fresh hot cup of tea.
What, and you didn't give me one?
No. You're literally on camera right now. There's no time, Andy.
Yeah, but...
here comes the first point.
Wouldn't it look like cozy if I had a cup of tea? Isn't this like we're cozy YouTubers? Like, sit and watch us drink a steaming mug. Aye, ah, my mug.
This is as far as I can go. Roger that. We'll be able to find our way to the control center from here. Good luck. Bullhammer out.
Canonically, Master Chief isn't usually one for loopholes, shortcuts, or other ways of getting out of the hard work of killing alien enemies. But when we're at the controls and role-playing goes out the window, you know we're taking every advantage we can get in the name of saving humanity. This includes a lovely vehicle-based loophole in the 5th level of Halo Combat Evolved. The level named Assault on the Control Room starts off normally enough, with you heroically fighting off groups of Covenant forces, as is Master Chief's wont. But then, when you get to a particular spot past these double doors, you can pull off a cheaty little trick to skip 90% of the level. See, if this Banshee loops round to attack you, and if you duck at just the right moment, you can make it crash into the wall. This makes the pilot stack it out of the Banshee, landing it right next to you, where it is ripe for the taking. I think the word I'm looking for is yoink.
Copy. Over.
I didn't think there were any human forces left on this planet.
By commandeering this enemy Banshee, you can zoom effortlessly over a huge chunk of the level, only having to hop out to open a few doors on the way, because apparently the Covenant haven't invented the garage door clicker. Riding around is not only faster, but it seems that foregoing the traditional route through the level prevents later enemies from even being spawned. So nothing shoots at you, and when you finally do reach an area you're forced to walk through, those places are just like me, empty on the inside. I'm just kidding. I have a rich inner life. No enemies spawning also means that you can easily steal this unguarded Banshee on a subsequent ice bridge, allowing you to fly to the end of the level, still completely undisturbed, except for some more doors. Even better, the empty level means that no one was around to witness the cheating, meaning that Master Chief's reputation remains intact.
If you played Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, you'll no doubt be aware of Koroks, tiny annoying twig people who make you solve puzzles, rewarding you with Korok seeds for their completion. What a Korok of Anyway, if you're tired of debasing yourself for the amusement of these sawed-off little mask freaks, then may we suggest using the emergent gameplay and interacting systems of Breath of the Wild to solve the Korok's puzzles in your own way. Because honestly, it seems like that would really annoy them. And that comforts me somehow. Take, for example, this Korok seed puzzle in which the challenge is to throw a rock through a circle of stones. Seems difficult and bad, you might be thinking to yourself, which is correct. It is both difficult and bad. But the lateral-minded links amongst you might be thinking to yourself, the challenge is just for the rock to go through the circle of stones. No one said anything about having to throw it. That's when light bulbs go off in the head of players who are smart like me, and who realise that you can use the game's Cryonis power to create ice platforms in the water. Throwing the rock down onto an ice platform is a lot easier than throwing it into a tiny stone circle, and once that's done, all you need to do is jump down, pick up the rock, and then jump into the circle to ensure your soggy victory. Ha! Take that, Koroks. I completed your puzzle that I don't even care about.
I don't know. Seems like you care a lot.
They care a lot.
Who?
The Koroks, who I don't care about.
There's still a few things left to wrap up, though. The bean counters told me we literally could not afford to buy $7 worth of moon rocks, much less 70 million. Bought them anyway, ground them up, mixed them into a gel. And guess what? Ground up moon rocks are pure poison. I am deathly ill. Still, it turns out they're a great portal conductor. So now, we're going to see if jumping in and out of these new portals can somehow leach the lunar poison out of a man's bloodstream.
As ingenious as Portal 2 is, there's usually only one solution to every problem in the game.
Again, not a death trap, not a death trap. Your death would be entirely voluntary and very much appreciated. The masher does work, I should point that out as well. I know we've had a couple of problems in the past. This masher definitely works. And, oh, wow, good. I didn't think that was going to work.
Okay, only one survivable solution. But Portal 2 is also a physics-based puzzle game, and if there's one thing we know about physics, is that it's impossible to know anything about it or study it in any way.
Don't you have a physics degree?
Right, so I should know. As such, there have been a few enterprising Portal 2 players who have managed to find genius solutions to various Portal 2 puzzle rooms that are most certainly not what the designers at Valve had in mind. Take this test room in Chapter 7, for example, in which you're supposed to use the white conversion gel, which allows you to place portals on surfaces it covers to create a path by covering every single available surface in conversion gel. It's a messy job, but someone's got to do it. The aim is to get to the top of the tower, from which you'll be able to build up enough momentum to launch yourself onto the platform from which you'll exit the room. Of course, players with a deep enough understanding of momentum and the laws of thermodynamics and so forth will realise that the conservation of momentum is actually what we in the science community call a bit loosey-goosey. Therefore, it's possible to jump, put down a portal, repeat, and launch themselves ever so slightly higher every time. Until eventually they manage to soar high enough to reach the platform and bypass all that tedious tower climbing. Boom! Physics, mother. One day we'll know what it is.
I've thought about it, and I think I'm doing everyone here a favor by ending this.
So what happens when you break the loop? Seriously, I want your theories.
Everything goes back to normal, obviously.
Normal? You have absolutely no idea what will happen.
True, but I know one way to find out.
Sure, being stuck in a never-ending time loop sounds good. You can learn the piano, kidnap groundhogs, learn enough about Andy McDowell's likes and dislikes that she'll agree to go out with you. But what if in addition to all that, everyone was trying to kill you all the time? That's the unfortunate situation that Colt, the time-looping protagonist of Deathloop, finds himself in, and in order to break out of his loop, he has to assassinate the 8 so-called visionaries on Black Reef Island, where time resets with every new day. Each of those visionaries has unique challenges associated with their eventual murder by you. For example, Igor Serling can turn invisible, whereas Fia Zabrowski will self-destruct her reactor if she senses something is amiss. So she is still technically assassinated, counting it as a win. One of the more interesting puzzles Deathloop presents to you relates to the visionary Alexis Dorsey. Dorsey is, we discover, heavily into wolves, and the location where you'll be attempting your assassination is a big wolf-themed party at his house. The problem for you is that you don't know what Alexis looks like, except for the fact that he's wearing a wolf mask. The issue with that is, so is everybody else.
Alexis makes intelligent dance music.
Yeah, I bet he only calls it that because no one else will dance to it.
They say he writes a new piece every morning while he's taking a dump.
What's supposed to follow is a tense game of cat and mouse as you infiltrate the party, spy, eavesdrop, and uncover clues that will lead you to being able to identify Alexis in this sea of wolves, and make a clean kill and a clean getaway.
There he is. I can't just shoot him, everyone will notice. Oh, unless I nexus everyone together and... Oh my god.
If your brain works a certain way, however, you will have identified another solution to this problem, namely that Alexis is at this party, so if you simply kill everybody at the party, you will have killed Alexis.
Gas gun time on the balcony. I'm out of ammo for everything. Wait, I killed Alexis. Oh my gosh. Let me out of the party. I've done my job.
And to make it even sweeter, there are 2 other visionaries at this party thrown in for free.
I think I may have murdered literally everyone in the party. So, a new low.
Problem solved. It costs a little bit more in ammunition, but honestly, the time saving more than makes up for it.
With the talismans, I'll be able to break the wards on the cathedral. It's time for me to retrieve the eye and bring it to Constantine. Last time I was here, the eye was inside, in plain sight on the main altar. I just have to grab it and leave.
A human skull has only so many practical purposes, you would think. Protecting a human brain. That bit in Hamlet. Goth paperweight. And yet, cleverly cheaty players in Thief the Dark Project could put a skull to work for an even more worthwhile purpose. In the mission Return to the Cathedral, Garrett pops back to the haunted cathedral with his 4 talismans, ready to break the elemental wards and retrieve the Eye, a mystical gem that can telepathically communicate with you. What's meant to happen is you venture inside, retrieve the Eye, then when you try to escape the way that you came in, you find the doors are closed and locked up tight.
I think that would be too easy. These doors I sealed once again. You'll have to find another way.
Stupid Eye, whose side are you on? Ordinarily, to win your freedom, you would then be required to work your way through the treacherous cathedral filled with the relentless undead and all their nonsense. If you were an especially sneaky kind of thief, however, you would have begun the mission by grabbing this convenient skull, and then setting it down like so. Then you could enter the cathedral, nip over and grab the eye, nip back and find that the skull you left behind has worked beautifully as an improvised doorstop, thereby preventing the cathedral doors from being closed and magically resealed. At which point you can exit the building no problem, having skipped most of the level. And, job done with a little help from the head bone of some dead guy, you've completed the mission.
Now you have your precious eye. What do you hope to do with me?
Ah, skulls. Is there anything they can't do?
How easily the mind unravels. Some say it's pain that does it best, others darkness. But I say neither. Rather, I say a mind cannot be more soundly broken than when it beholds its earnest efforts laid low in a single stroke.
These days, the Sphinx just lies around on the Giza Plateau in Egypt not doing much, but apparently back in the day, it was really into riddles. As we can see here from historical documentary Dragon's Dogma 2, in which the Sphinx rocks up to get you to undergo a series of side quests, which it frames as riddles, but which are really more challenges, puzzles, feats of skill, and occasionally, straight up murder attempts.
It is good to be reunited.
Let my magics grant good show. It seems your mind is as strong as your arm.
What the hell, Sphinx? I'm glad your nose is going to fall off. One riddle, however, known as the Riddle of Futility, might test even the best riddle solver, because it requires you to transport a fragile vase across the map to an old dude named Sir Moritz in Batal. And believe me, this vase wants to smash into itty-bitty pieces like it's been training for that exact purpose its entire life.
I do hope your struggle will amuse.
Making this an even tougher challenge is the fact that you can't use a ferry stone, Dragon's Dogma 2's fast travel system, while carrying a vase for some reason. However, thinking about this challenge logically, the idea is to bring Sir Moritz and the vase together. Who's to say that the vase has to go to the man? What if instead we picked up the struggling Sir Moritz against his will and then forcibly carried him across the land to this vase that I'm sure he's not all that bothered about? And the best news? You can use a ferry stone while essentially kidnapping someone.
What in the world were you thinking, bringing me to such a place?
Riddle solved. Sphinx, I'll be taking my magic ring now. Sir Moritz, you might want to set off. It's going to be a long walk home.
I command you, corpse. Speak. Reveal truth to the absolute. Nothing. Must be reading it wrong.
Baldur's Gate 3 is a game that offers you a tremendous amount of choice, even if the right option is usually fairly obvious. For example, a very obviously bad idea to cast a fireball into this fireworks factory, and yet here I go! Yeah, pretty much what I was expecting. One choice that is always available to you in Baldur's Gate 3, however, is the choice to shove people hard in the chest. While it might seem to be of limited use, this little maneuver is your handy solution to bypassing several of the game's notoriously tough boss encounters. For example, the early game mini-boss, Draw Ragslin, a powerful hobgoblin who is one of 3 goblin leaders you have to kill in the Shattered Sanctum.
You're no true soul. You're a damned heretic. Boys, crush him!
If you want an easy, cheaty solution to the Ragslin problem, all you need to do is pick your strongest character and send them into his throne room. Smash his throne so that he goes and stands in the right place, and then walk up to him and shove him down a massive hole.
And they'll know she is absolute!
Not only is it easy and efficient, it is also extremely funny, although not quite as funny as doing the same thing when you encounter a boat full of Durgar in the Underdark.
Where's Gek? Who are you?
This is another tough fight that you can make 16.67% easier by shoving this dude into the river in hilarious fashion. Going for an all-shove based playthrough next time. It's where my talents truly lie.
Hey, thanks for watching this video about times that clever players discover genius solutions to puzzles that game developers weren't expecting. We sure showed them, didn't we, folks? And I've got something else to show you. It's 2 more videos. Up here is one from us at outsidexbox. Down here is one from Outside Extra. You pick one of those to watch, and I'm going to enjoy this cup of tea that Jane did go and get me, actually. So it's real. It's in here. I love the taste, and you're just gonna call me out in front of everyone, huh?